Meanwhile, Magdalene, hope you're having a pleasant day at the park.
Of course, yes, Joe James. It's really nice sometimes to move off the city, which is full of noise and toxic gases. One thing that is hindering my mind about people's ideas of getting out these Earth's natural resources is that the total extraction of these resources are moving at a higher rate and resources are gradually going into extinction. The idea in the minds of people in using the natural resources sustainably is absent, without hesitating for the future generations that will witness these resources.
Yeah, and some of these resources are minerals, soil, water, air, forest, and wildlife. Some which can be renewed are called renewable resources, and some which cannot be renewed are called non-renewable resources.
From the forest, which we see the indiscriminate cutting down of trees for timber logging, charcoal burning, road construction, factories, mining and agricultural cultivation. If we cut down all these trees, it will bring about change in climate, which will cause swamps and rivers to get dried in our different areas, and will call for the use of underground water, which is aquifers.
When aquifers, which are the underground storage of water table, will be exhausted, which will be the only source of fresh water, and we'll know how water is essential in our day-to-day activities.
Although the cutting down has great effects, but if these people do not burn charcoal, clear the vegetation to mine, cultivate crops, and timber for exports, how will they earn money to feed their families, and even send their children to school?
Yes, it's really true, but if their fathers has cut down all these trees, will there be any trees for the children to harvest in their own generation? No, and here comes the idea of the sustainable use of our forest, by planting, which also known as reforestation, afforestation, where there hasn't been no forest before in these land areas, which has been cleared and cut down for charcoal burning, abandoned mining areas, abandoned farmlands, and timber logging.
But let me say, if we start planting green spaces, which are smaller areas of trees in places where most trees have been cut down, or where the forest is completely gone, is a way to improve the soil, water, and air even in populated cities and towns. And also trimming bark and branches from fallen trees before taking them out of the forest causes less damage to other plants when the tree is hauled out. The bark and branches rot and make good soil.
I think replanting after cutting is a way to make sure there will be new trees and seeds to replace the ones that were cut. If farmers embrace this method, it will lead them to more sustainable growth. You're totally right, sir. What if we try enrichment planting? Means planting new trees, or plants under older trees, or in small clearings when they do not grow back by themselves.
That's another great point you have mentioned, Joe James. We can also try controlled burning. This method can reduce bush that grows under trees. This releases nutrients into the soil and kills pests that might hurt the trees. Controlled burns need careful planning because fires can easily burn out of control. Another is supporting natural regrowth of forests by limiting the use of areas where too many trees have been cut, helps forests to recover.
And the use of thinning, wherein vines, plants, and trees allows more sunlight into the forest, so that the plants you want can grow. So when we thin or cutting certain trees, it makes the ones that remain grow wider and healthier. Also selective logging, which means cutting only some trees, while saving young trees and some healthy older trees to hold soil and provide seed for the future. Selective logging protects some trees for the future, allowing forests to continue growing. Yes, we should also consider collecting and selling non-timber forest products, rather than selling wood as a way to care for the forest while also earning money. And I think paying ranchers to keep grazing animals out of the forest, and paying farmers not to cut trees on part of their land, can support healthy forests and prevent conflicts.
Using animals to haul logs causes less damage than bulldozers or other heavy machinery. Animals compact forest soil less than machines.
And finally, when we have practiced sustainable use, ecotourism shines for us, as it earns money by showing visitors the natural beauty of a forest, without having to cut trees or damage the environment. All we have to do now is to safeguard our forest ecosystem. So community heads, chiefs of different towns, community people, farmers, agriculturists, timber loggers, and the entire public, let us practice these skills to preserve and protect our environment. We will be extending our extension works to reach you out before it's too late. Help safeguard our forest ecosystem in your own community.